Remember those sci-fi books and movies where humans colonized the moon and Mars? Or maybe those cartoons of the families living in space? Well, not exactly fiction now. These scenarios don't seem far-fetched and an age away anymore, thanks to cutting-edge space technology. Colonizing Mars could be sooner than you think. From the moon landing in 1969, space exploration has accelerated pretty fast, and no one is more popular today in this regard than the founder of SpaceX, Elon Musk. No one has gone further either. SpaceX has solid plans to explore the feasibility of Mars colonization, and they are closer to their dreams than ever before. SpaceX, or Space Exploration Technologies Corp, is an American company that deals with aerospace manufacturing and space transportation and communications. As a commercial space research corporation, SpaceX has been in the news quite a lot thanks to tech billionaire and founder Elon Musk. SpaceX makes headlines with the most outrageous news that somehow ends up working out. Some of the notable achievements that SpaceX has made so far include manufacturing the first privately funded liquid propellant rocket to reach orbit, being the first private company to send astronauts to the ISS, vertical takeoff and landing for an orbital rocket, to name a few. SpaceX is also working on establishing commercial internet service by developing a satellite mega-constellation called Starlink. Not to mention Starship, another privately funded aircraft which will be used for interplanetary spaceflight. I think it's safe to say that SpaceX is as futuristic as it gets. If there's one group that can pioneer colonization on Mars, it's probably this one. Long before SpaceX was founded, Musk had a concept of a project tuned to establish an experimental greenhouse and raise plants on Mars. He said that this project, which would essentially be the farthest that life had traveled, would rekindle people's interest in space. Since he failed in buying rockets from Russia due to high prices, he decided to DIY his own. Well, by DIY, I mean by using commercially available components and smart engineering, significantly reducing the cost of the launch. From 2005 to 2009, SpaceX started actively manufacturing its Falcon orbital rockets. They also made public their plans for commercial space transportation or space tourism, which seemed like a naive plan in the early 2000s. Consecutive failures in launching rockets almost ended the company and its founder on the verge of bankruptcy. In 2008, SpaceX finally succeeded in launching an orbital rocket, raising hopes high up again. In the following years, SpaceX got funding from NASA and the Defense Ministry, and their manufacturing went bigger. They started regularly manufacturing Falcon and Dragon spacecrafts. 2014 saw SpaceX successfully negotiate its first commercial mission for a private customer. They started launching astronauts into space with a collaboration from NASA in 2020. The value of SpaceX has started going up exponentially since its first successful launch. Now that SpaceX has successfully proved its mettle on Earth and orbital missions, the company's goals lie in interplanetary travel, specifically between our planet and our neighbor, Mars. On the SpaceX website, you can read Musk's statement about the Mars mission. He says, "You want to wake up in the morning and think the future is going to be great. And that's what being a spacefaring civilization is about. It's all about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past. And I can't think of anything more exciting than going out there and being among the stars." This genius would have been labeled a madman in another time, but here he is, making interplanetary travel seem achievable in the not-so-distant future. So how is Musk going to get us to Mars? When and why? Traveling to and shifting life to another planet has been in the cards for a while now, whether it be comic strips or actual mission statements of governmental space exploration agencies. The main reason being Earth's finite resources and its overexploration by humans. Worries about our home planet running out of inhabitable conditions fueled by accelerating climate change have raised concerns for the quality of life for the future of humanity. And Mars, Earth's twin planet, seems the only viable option. Closest to having the Earth's atmospheric condition, it is theoretically possible to grow plants on Mars by compressing the atmosphere. As to the how, SpaceX plans to use its Starship spacecraft and Super Heavy rocket for the project. They are supposed to create a reusable transportation system designed to refuel in orbit, as well as use the natural elemental resources on the Mars surface to refuel. The Starship is a 165-foot-tall spaceship that will be launched on top of Super Heavy. The rocket will be returned back to Earth shortly after liftoff, and Starship could be theoretically able to fly to Mars. SpaceX executive Jonathan Hofeller gave hopeful updates on the Starship launch. NASA has staunchly backed the company by investing $135 million into the Starship's development as a potential lunar lander in its Artemis mission. Paul Wooster, who is the primary Mars developmental engineer, went on record to say that SpaceX is on track to reach Mars in this decade. That means within 9 years. We might be witnessing the greatest ever human technological advancement to the stars in 9 years. In December of 2020, Elon Musk said that he had confidence that SpaceX could launch people into Mars in 2026, and if everything works smoothly, maybe even by 2024. He also talked about sending an uncrewed spacecraft there again in another 2 years. Why wait 2 more years, you might wonder? This is because Earth and Mars align favorably for interplanetary launches once in every 26 months. Interplanetary dynamics. Musk's determination was fixed from even before the founding of SpaceX. He has never lost sight of that goal all throughout the growth and development of the company. In conversation about the organization and its Mars goals in 2020, Musk said that he also has a desire to die on the red planet, just not on impact, he added. In a Clubhouse app discussion, Musk said that a crewed mission to Mars would take a maximum of 5 years to land on the neighboring planet. He stressed on the importance of establishing a self-sustaining civilization on Mars. We don't want to fudge things up there as well like we did on Earth. In truth, Musk's timeline for reaching Mars has changed in recent years. In 2017, he has set an aspirational timeline for his company to send cargo ships to Mars, 2022, and a crewed mission in 2024, as per planetary dynamics time schedule as we discussed earlier. With 5.5 years to go from the later reiterated 2026 projection, experts say that the company will have to realistically wait some more years to get to their goal. Greg Autry, commercial space industry expert, has stated that it was more likely for Musk's company to get to Mars by 2029 or 2031. He argues that any space project, commercial or government-backed, would be challenging and rarely completed within projected time. Elon Musk's projects are extremely ambitious and time-consuming, whether it be for his completely autonomous Tesla on the market or his mission to colonize Mars. This does not, however, in any way reduce the significance of what Musk has set out to achieve. Musk had also stated plans to send 1 million people to Mars by 2050. This is much more ambitious, next to an impossible goal. 1 million people to Mars by 2050 means launching 1,000 Starship spacecrafts over a decade, which means 100 ships a year. It does seem a stretch, but who knows? Moon landing seemed a stretch not 50 years ago. There are also concerns regarding the success of the Starship. Parts of it, like the booster, life support system, re-entry system, and the ability to refuel on Mars, are still untested. This points to more time being spent on perfecting and testing out these. Musk is often painted to extrapolate and sell objectives and timelines to the point of being unrealistic at the moment of labor and time required to nail this technology and hardware. Because of planetary alignment dynamics, Musk apparently has only 3 launch opportunities left. Only if all components involved go according to plan will Musk be able to achieve his 2026 goals. Kevin De Bruin, former NASA scientist, raises concerns about the mass needed to land Starship on Mars. It requires 6 times the mass that is currently available. There is also the problem of how human biology will react to extended space life. There could be faster degeneration. Experts also imply that Musk exaggerates his objectives to encourage his employees to think bigger. Colonization on Mars would actually require bioregenerative technology, which is using human breath, liquid and solid waste, and to recycle it using plants and other life forms to produce fresh food, water, and air. There hasn't been significant research into this much-needed area yet. As to the question of where on Mars SpaceX plans to land and start its ambitious projects, the company has definitive answers. It has identified 9 potential landing places for the Starship. These sites are based on NASA data and from the Mars Reconnaissance mission, which targeted places with potential water content. And so, SpaceX has gone further than anyone else in human history with its research and plans for a Mars mission in this decade. Whatever concerns detractors might raise, if this objective is achieved, it definitely will be one step for Musk and another giant leap for mankind. Better start looking for some prime real estate on Mars. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to press the bell icon to get updates. Thanks for watching.